Hi, so I'm very excited because today is Friday, July 16th. Markets are relatively quiet. S&Ps and NASDAQ are relatively tame. Forex is also very tame, only about 20, 30 basis points up. Crypto, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, is actually the big mover today. Really seeing more downdraft as we open up trade on Friday. We also have option expiration day in the U.S., so should be a little bit of flows there. But the big event before anything else for all the global macro markets is going to be U.S. retail sales. U.S. retail sales right now projected to bounce back. I believe on the core basis, the last month they were 0.7 negative. Today they're projected to be 0.4 up, but still a pretty muted pump up. I'm wondering, ladies, how do you feel? Kathy, what do you think retail sales is going to be like today, given the overall data set that we've seen over the last couple of weeks?
Well, my outlook is always driven by the numbers. And when it comes to retail sales, I always look at basically the average hourly earnings, the non-farm payrolls report, which if you all remember, the last one was pretty good. And then we also look at the Red Book and Johnson retail sales surveys. And both of those reports showed that spending accelerated quite a bit in the month of June. So I know that there's some talk that there could be a miss, and that would purely come from weaker auto sales, in my opinion. But when it comes to spending, there are many reasons from a quote unquote leading indicator perspective to think that retail sales is going to be good, because there's no question that the U.S. economy is on a very clear path to recovery. The real question for us as traders, of course, is how that would impact the markets and whether it matters at all. So, that's something to take in consideration. But if we're looking at the pure data, between non-farm payrolls, average hourly earnings, as well as the other consumer sentiment and consumer spending surveys, I can't help but lean towards a stronger number. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, these kind of leading indicators are more reliable than they're not. So my inclination is going to be to buy dollars ahead of the report.
Interesting. So what do you think, Raghee? Kathy laid out a very, very strong fundamental foundation for why retail sales could beat. Even if they do beat, what do you think is setting up? How do you like the markets ahead of the report right now?
So far be it from me to throw down in this battle against Kathy's number crunching abilities. I follow Kathy on Twitter, and whenever she has her number crunching, I'll take a look at that, because it's superior, it's awesome, and it gives a really clear path. That being said, I think my approach is not so much for example, I'm not going to be nearly as astute, right? I'm not going to be able to flex the number crunching, but what I'll do is I'll wait for the number to come out. My moment is 8:31, Eastern. My moment is right after that number comes out and we get the initial reaction to the headline, the overreaction sometimes. And so I'll typically fade that. But what I'm really curious about, and before we really get nasty, Kathy, I want to start throwing hands. What I'm curious about is this, and we've seen this with CPI data. We're in this good news is bad news environment ever since June 16. So the Federal Reserve tweaks the message. Of course, the market's like 3-year-olds completely overreact. So what I'm wondering is a healthy consumer, is a good retail sales number necessarily going to be something that's going to send the market higher or lower? I agree with Kathy. This will be the last time I agree with you today. I agree with Kathy. It's going to be a better than expected number, or at least a positive number. But I'm wondering if the market's going to head lower, and in which case I'd love to buy dollars, short yen, and in terms of indices, get long indices.